It had been 3 days since Jungkook's boss had left for a work trip, and left. He is in charge of the company, but the problem was that his boss had left the company in the care of his youngest son too, so that he could enter this world of business. And Park Jimin was the most insufferable boy you had ever met. He was always irritating Jungkook and making him lose focus on his work, and he seemed to enjoy see Jungkook angry. He's childish and never helps Jungkook with his work. He just hangs out in the hallways talking to the employees. Jungkook was concentrated, finishing filling out some spreadsheets on the computer. The office room seemed to be in a comfortable silence until Jimin's melodious voice filled the entire room. Jungkook, what are you doing? I'm so bored. He says childishly, leaning over Jungkook's work desk. Jungkook was concentrated, filling out some spreadsheets on the computer, but the comfortable silence in the office room was interrupted by the melodious voice of Park Jimin. Jungkook, what are you doing? I'm so bored. He says childishly, leaning over Jungkook's work desk with a smirk on his pink lips. Jimin tilde. Can't you see I'm working? Go bother someone else. But I'm bored. Jimin whines and dramatically lays his head on the desk. He looks at Jungkook with a childish, sulking face. He clearly had nothing better to do than disturb Jungkook on his work. Pay attention to me. Ugh, you're worse than a spoiled puppy. Jungkook mutters, not looking up from the screen. Go raid your dad's expense account or something. Buy yourself a toy. Jimin gasps, sitting up with glittering mischief in his eyes, as if money fixes boredom. I want you to entertain me tilde. Jungkook finally glares. Then go start actually working. Shocking concept. You might learn something. You working. That's so responsible. Jimin scrunches his nose and dramatically flops onto the couch nearby, draping an arm over his eyes like a tragic hero. I was born for luxury not spreadsheets He peeks one eye open to watch Jungkook. Come on, just one game of office chair racing. Loser buys bubble tea. Stares at him flatly, unamused. Grow up, Jimin. There's more to life than bubble tea. He returns his attention to the spreadsheets, determined to ignore Jimin's antics. He hears another bored sigh from behind him. Booring. You're such a workaholic Jimin hops up, sauntering over to stand behind Jungkook, arms folded. Jungkook does his best to stay focused, but he can feel Jimin's gaze on the back of his neck. The pink-haired boy leans over his shoulder, peering curiously at the spreadsheets. You know, you look kind of hot when you're all serious. Jimin's voice drops to a silky murmur, and Jungkook's fingers falter on the keyboard. For an instant, he forces his attention back to the screen, jaw clenched. Quit distracting me. Jungkook grunts, still not looking up, but a shiver runs up his spine at Jimin's closeness, and it irks him that it's having any effect on him at all. Jimin chuckles, leaning even closer. His warm breath ghosts over Jungkook's ear, making him involuntarily tense. This is getting ridiculous. Oh, come on. You need a break. You've been cooped up here all day. I'm almost done. Jungkook insists, refusing to look at Jimin. The words sound weak even to his own ears. Jimin's proximity is starting to cloud his focus, and it's pissing him off. Asterisk, he should say something harsh and dismissive, but then Jimin's fingers find their way to his shoulders, gently massaging the tense muscles there. Jungkook's hands still completely over the keyboard, his breath catching without his permission. Jimin's touch is almost infuriatingly soothing, working out the knots in Jungkook's shoulders with a practiced ease. It feels good asterisk. Damn it all. Jungkook hates that he can't help the sigh that escapes him, or the way his eyes flutter, shut briefly. Asterisk Jimin notices, of course. He leans in even more, lips grazing Jungkook's ear as he whispers, asterisk, you're way too uptight, you know that, and you're way too asterisk. Annoying asterisk. Asterisk Jungkook retorts, but it lacks heat. The tension in his shoulders is slowly melting away under Jimin's touch, and he hates how his body is responding. He tries to compose himself, focusing on the screen again. Asterisk, but Jimin's fingers have moved to Jungkook's nape now, gently stroking the sensitive skin there. Jungkook suppresses another shiver, fighting the urge to lean into the touch. Asterisk Jimin chuckles again, noticing Jungkook's efforts to maintain his cold exterior. He leans his chin on Jungkook's shoulder, enjoying the effect he's having. You're trying so hard to act like you're not enjoying this, but I can feel your pulse here. Asterisk, his fingers brush lightly over Jungkook's throat, just below his jawline. Jungkook swallows, unable to ignore the way his heart beats a little faster at the touch. Asterisk, Jungkook swallows, trying to collect himself. Jimin's words and touches are making it damn near impossible to focus on anything else. Shut up, asterisk, he manages, but his voice lacks real conviction. He should push Jimin away. Get up, do asterisk, anything asterisk other than sit here and let this annoying, spoiled brat get under his skin like this. But goddammit, it feels so goddamn good. Asterisk Jimin grins, seeing the crack in Jungkook's composure. He moves around, slipping onto Jungkook's lap without warning, straddling him. Jungkook's eyes widen, but his hands instinctively go to Jimin's waist, steadying him despite himself. Jimin's slender body presses against him, and the familiar scent of his cologne fills Jungkook's senses, making his head spin. You sure I'm annoying? Asterisk Jimin teases, wrapping his arms around Jungkook's neck. Asterisk, doesn't look like you mind my attention too much. Asterisk Jungkook glares up at him, his grip on Jimin's waist growing a little tighter. His mind is screaming at him to push this spoiled brat off his lap, but his body betrays him once again. He can feel the heat of Jimin's body through their clothes, and his own breathing has grown a little ragged. Damn it, asterisk, he forces himself to speak, the words coming out in a low growl. Asterisk, you're still annoying. This changes nothing. Asterisk Jimin just laughs, clearly amused by Jungkook's feeble protests. He shifts slightly in his lap, and Jungkook has to bite back a groan. Jimin's slender thighs are pressed against his own, and the friction is doing nothing to help calm his rapidly heating body. His fingers dig into Jimin's hips, and it's getting harder and harder to hold onto any shred of control. Asterisk Jimin leans down, his gaze locked with Jungkook's, and whispers, you say that, but your body doesn't seem to agree. Asterisk Jungkook is acutely aware of how close Jimin is, their faces just inches apart. His mind is a whirling mess of conflicting desires to push Jimin away and to pull him even closer. The damn boy is driving him insane. With the last shred of willpower, Jungkook forces himself to speak, his voice rough with suppressed desire. You're playing a dangerous game. Jimin, asterisk, he grits out. His fingers flex on Jimin's hips, the touch verging on possessive. Asterisk, asterisk, Jimin simply smirks, unfazed by Jungkook's warning. He rolls his hips deliberately, and Jungkook's grip tightens reflexively. He can't stop a low moan from escaping his lips, and he can feel his self-control slipping away like sand through his fingers. With each passing second, asterisk, Jimin doesn't miss the sound, his gaze darkening with satisfaction. He leans down, his breath tickling Jungkook's ear, and whispers, I asterisk like asterisk dangerous.